So yes, very exciting times in the world today, indeed, folks. Very exciting times indeed. Look, there are a lot of organisations trying to combat certain problems in certain ways, and many of them need a hand. I've had a lot of people contacting me asking if I need help. I do need help, but it's hard if you're not actually around here somewhere, so it's kind of difficult. I mean, I've got someone from, I think, Poland at the moment who's helping us build a new website, which is going to be an interactive website that's hopefully going to be used to introduce people to this information. And there's all sorts of things we can do. There's the website run by Clifford Carnicom called the Carnicom Institute, and they are also desperately in need of help at the moment. Clifford Carnicom, of course, made the film Aerosol Crimes. He's one of the most long-standing researchers on chemtrails that is anywhere on the planet, and Clifford and the Carnicom Institute really do need some help at the moment, folks. They need programmers, they need webmasters, they need staff members, they really need some help. So anybody who feels like getting involved and committing themselves to a very worthwhile cause, and that is the cause of chemtrails, please go to thecrowhouse.com. You'll see the featured website this week is the Carnicom Institute. If you get there and the link is moved as the featured website, then simply check the links page and you'll find the link there. And please do feel free to offer them your support as they sorely need it. Chemtrails is a very important issue, folks. We saw some huge ones here yesterday. Actually, I'll put a picture of one of them with this clip when I post it onto YouTube. And they have been kind of hammering us with these things. It is a very important issue, folks. Chemtrails is something that affects everybody, and it's simply not going to go away until people start making noise about it. Bill S510 is simply not going to go away until people start making noise about it. Things like the TSA simply are not going to go away either until people start making noise about it. The best way to make noise about it is to build community and stand in solidarity against this type of legislation. That's what has to be done. You need to all go to the airports and all refuse the machines, all just boycott the pat-downs, refuse. Opt out of the pat-downs, opt out of the naked body scanners, opt out of any regulations being enforced by the FDA. Stand up for your rights now and preserve your freedoms now, folks, because rights are only good if people choose to exercise these rights. And if you fail to exercise these rights, then they will be taken away from you, because they are being taken away from you right now. So the time to remove fear from your life, the time to remove fear from your heart is now. The time to break down the division between you and your neighbours, between you and your community, is now. By breaking down this division, it's easy to stand up to these people. It's easy to turn your back on the system because you have each other to depend on. But you can't wait until the system crashes. You need to build that currency of friendship now. Start building community now. Start helping your neighbours. Start alerting people to the problems that you face. And let them know that they do have your support. And should you see them get in trouble with the authorities over growing food, you are prepared to stand with them in solidarity. It really is important that people stand up and do this in all countries. Because if our countries fall to fascism and we lose what rights we have, it will be very, very difficult to get them back. The last time people really stood up for their rights and actually got any rights at all came with the introduction of the Magna Carta in 1297, which was later improved with the addition of the Bill of Rights in 1688. Since then, it's just been derivations of those documents. But those documents still stand, folks. Rights were given to us in those documents that can never ever be taken away. It doesn't matter what laws, it doesn't matter what statutes that are put in place. Those documents still stand. The Magna Carta itself stemmed directly from the actions of a man called Robin Hood. And folks, all they had to use back then was swords and bows and arrows. And we are facing a lot worse than that. So I think it's about time we got onto things, folks, while we are still able to do so, because the opportunity is not going to be there forever. Well, we're getting pretty close to the end of the show here, folks. I hope things haven't been too negative for you today. We are facing a pretty desperate situation with a lot of what's going on in the world, and I do feel that it is important to address these issues. But as I've said, folks, they all are opportunities for us. I still see all of these things as opportunities. I still find it fascinating that they have to implement all of these ridiculous legislations. I find it fascinating that they believe they can. And I find it even more fascinating that people enforce them and that other people choose to go along with them. Sometimes it really is quite mind-blowing to see what the human race will do to itself and what it is prepared to take. Well, that's pretty well it for me, folks. I'd like to say thank you to everybody who visits thecrowhouse.com. Thank you for anybody who has ever offered help to the Crow House. It's very much needed. When we get this interactive website happening and when mathematically perfected economy is ready to go, which I believe isn't very far away, then I do intend to put a money bomb on the Crow House in an attempt to raise enough money to put a full-page ad simultaneously in every newspaper across the country. The ad will kind of serve as an article and an advertisement for all three websites. It will hopefully provide people with enough insight into the problems that we face, and it will also provide solutions to these problems and a place that we can all meet up online to implement people's mandates in order to hopefully change this problem. It's a start anyway, folks. At least it's something. We need to do something, and anything that will help generate public awareness, well, I'm right there, folks. That's just what I do. Well, thank you very much for listening to the show today. If you ever can make a contribution to the Crow House, it's very much needed. Thank you for spending this time with me today and for taking the time to listen. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. But I'll have to say goodbye for now. I'll look forward to speaking to you again next week. In Lakesh.